So this video is for the person who, in social situations, or when meeting new people for the first time, is always more confident in his own head when thinking about how he'd like to come across, as this confident, charismatic, smooth guy, than the reality of the situation, how he actually behaves. If that sounds like you, then in this video I'm going to share one of the most useful pieces of social advice I've ever received. I still use this nearly every day of my life. This has been so invaluable, and anyone can just implement this tomorrow if they needed to. So I grew up as the shy guy, very introverted, and I am still very introverted today. It's something that I've had to learn to navigate when it comes to my social life. But when I was younger, I always wanted what I couldn't have, which was this exciting social life. Didn't have many friends in school, only a very small circle, and we kind of just kept to ourselves. But on weekends, on Saturday nights, I'd stay up on social media and I'd look at people's Instagram stories, posting the videos of them at parties that I hadn't been invited to. And I used to just so desperately want that, just like want to be included in the fun. I know there's more to life than parties, but at that age, it kind of feels like that's it. That's like the peak of life. And when I eventually got older and I did start to go to a few parties, made friends with some cooler people, I'd always psych myself up before going. I'd imagine how I'm going to act. I'm going to go in there. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, but I'm visualizing myself being confident, going up to these groups of people, groups of girls, and just knowing what to say, being smooth. Basically just imagining myself as some movie character who always has the right lines, basically like Matthew McConaughey in any rom-com. You just kind of trust I'm going to be this guy. I know I'll know what to say when the time comes. Then when it does come, I cling to my friends the whole evening. I don't talk to one new person the whole night, let alone a girl. Whereas they seem to be so comfortable in this new environment full of strangers. Not just that, they're comfortable being loud, being the center of attention. Whereas I'm just kind of trying to go under the radar. And they're coming out with a whole bunch of new friends and they're telling me, I just got invited to this party. Have you not talked to this guy yet? He's just handing out free invites to some pool party. Bro, that's a real story. I didn't talk to anyone else but my friends the whole evening. And everyone at this one party that I went to just got invited to some pool party by some guy who was just giving out free invites. And I'm the one person who didn't get invited because I didn't talk to him. But yeah, it was just really hard not to compare myself to my friends and not get disappointed because I'd have such high hopes for myself to act like this confident guy. And I'd spend all those hours psyching myself up to get to this level, to even where I felt comfortable going along, because that's kind of a scary environment to be in. And I leave just feeling like I've absolutely flopped, my expectations could not have been further from the reality. So this is where this piece of advice that I learned, which has just been absolutely life-changing, comes into play. And that is, for someone in this position, for someone like me who, I wasn't super socially skilled growing up, and that mostly came down to experience. I wasn't getting out there and practicing. But for someone in that position, it sounds like common sense, but is it realistic to expect the world of them? To be that guy? To go along and just be super charismatic and talking to so many new people? It's not. And even now, as I'm a lot more confident, I wouldn't say that's what I would expect of myself now. Does that mean I don't think I'm confident? Does that mean I don't think I can be socially skilled? No. But why do we place all of those expectations on ourselves when we kind of know that we're not there yet? We're not at that level yet. Maybe one day we could be there. But in fairness, we're never gonna be that like guy from the movie, the Matthew McConaughey, because that's not real. We're never gonna be 100% smooth and perfect and always know what to say. That's just not the reality. So I was always setting these impossible expectations on myself until I learned this one trick. And I learned this when I was going through this like 6-month period where I really wanted to test myself socially, see how far I come. And I decided I was going to learn how to like cold approach women. So go up onto the street and just try and get numbers from random girls. Just see, I was kind of a little bit tired of like online dating, so I thought I'd try something different. And I joined this like online community for learning how to do that. And the guy running it, he told me, because at the start I was struggling to even talk to one girl because that's like a really scary thing to do. And he said like, you're expecting too much of yourself right now, Tom, because you're a beginner, And he didn't say this in a way that was like crushing me or like trying to knock my confidence. He just said it like, this is kind of the truth. You need to kind of set yourself a target at your level, lower the bar for success. Because I was kind of thinking, why am I not immediately just being able to approach like 20 girls in an hour? And he said, you need to lower the bar to the point where even just a small win, that's a successful day out for you. Lower the bar. And I said, like, lower it. What do you mean lower it? Like, well, he said, imagine even just talking to like one girl. At your level, that's a success. Like, that's absolutely amazing for you. And I said, but sometimes I've even struggled to like talk to one girl. And he said, well, in that case, think about what you've done already. And this is going to sound like, doesn't make much sense to some people, but just showing up at the location, just showing up somewhere where there's going to be a lot of girls, that is a win. That should be a success for you. Like, you've worked up the courage to go along to like an actual like place, an actual location with the intention of like, okay, this is what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to try and cold approach some girls. And that's when it kind of clicked for me, like, for my level at the time, and this applies to just any social situation really, especially when I was back in high school, it's like, when I'm not the most social person, when I am this like introverted guy, when I have been dealing with like a lot of shyness and it's just this everyday battle, I should not be setting myself like the highest target of like, making like friends with 10 new people every single night. Just showing up at that party, which takes a lot of courage, like walking into a room full of people you don't know, that's like still pretty intimidating. That should be a win. That counts as a win. Lower the bar for success to the point where just showing up is a win. And I've taken this advice and I've applied it to like so many other situations in my life. And it really helps at times when you're like a little bit nervous or you don't really want to do something. Another example, I'll cut a long story short, but I was working this film festival on a weekend day. And we had like all these different filmmakers flying from different parts of the world. And I was like support staff. And I was due to hang out with a couple of friends after I finished my shift. And a couple of them cancelled. And the other one said, I'll come along, but it's not going to be until like very late. It's not going to be till late in the evening. So now I'm just like, I'm at home and I've got nothing to do. And I'm kind of thinking like, damn, like I was looking forward to this, catching up with some friends. Am I just going to like let my evening just end here? And I started thinking about what I could do. And I managed to like snag one of these like backstage passes for the film festival. and they were running this like networking event in this bar, and technically I'm not supposed to be there, but what am I saying? Technically I'm not supposed to be there because it's for like all the different filmmakers and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't have done this usually, but I just had a bit of time to kill. So I thought, like, what is the harm in just showing up at this bar? Like, I know I'm not supposed to be there, but I can just go along for 10 minutes and see if I like it. If I don't like it, then I can leave. And that's kind of the beauty of this idea, this just show up kind of philosophy. It's that, like, it takes off all the pressure on you. There's no expectations placed on me. If I'm going somewhere and I think I've got to be talking to every single person and, you know, this, and this, I've got to come out with a bunch of friends, that's not going to make it any easier for me. It's going to make me feel the pressure. I'm going to feel more anxious. If I'm lowering the bar to the point of just going to show up for 10 minutes and see if I like it, if I don't, then I can leave, that's better. That means I can act more natural if I do end up talking to anyone. So I showed up to this bar and I was kind of like, I went up and I got a beer, and the entire room was just so busy, and I could kind of feel myself getting a bit anxious. And in the end, I just kind of like, I wandered over to like a low-key table and I just asked the people there if I could sit down. And that took a lot of courage for me. But in the end, they were just like, these people, they were just absolutely chill as fuck, and they didn't care that I was just kind of an imposter there, like I wasn't supposed to be there. Like, they were really friendly. And I ended up like having like a chill couple of hours with these people. They were from Portugal. They were like filmmakers. And yeah, it was just like really good. And I kind of thought like, wow, I never would have met these cool people had I not just like taken a chance just to show up. If I'd have set myself the target of like, oh, I need to have a chat with every single person in this bar, then, you know, I might have come across as a little bit needy even, or I might have been more anxious than I was in the first place. But setting the bar low, that allowed me to like kind of, you know, just get a feel for the space and figure out where, like, who might be a cool person to talk to and just this kind of thing. And what I also like about this advice, just to kind of finish off the video, is it sets a really good foundation for what comes next. Like, if you do like the environment and you decide to stay on a bit longer, you know, the target can go up slightly. Instead of just showing up, now it's, I'm going to show up and talk to one person, just one person, and that can be a win. You know, once I've gotten past that initial target, just slightly up the challenge level. Instead of going in right at the top, like I've got to do this, and this, keeping it low key, not forcing yourself, not forcing anything, just kind of stepping gradually outside of your comfort zone, dipping your toes in before you jump in the pool. So yeah, man, this is one of the best mindsets I've come across for socializing, just as an introverted person. This stuff doesn't come naturally to me. I've had to learn it over time. And I never thought I'd be saying this, but I kind of become addicted to the challenge. Like, I get buzzed off of this. I like testing myself. And before, you know, I was just the guy who was just clinging to his friends, just hanging around the people that I did know. So this has been like a really nice way of just like proving to myself what I can actually do. And I feel like this is something any introvert can do. But yeah, that's the video, man. See you soon.